Hey guys, what's up? My name is Jesse van Burgel, and welcome to this training for six-figure coaches, consultants, service providers, and agency owners. And in this quick video, I'm going to tell you more about how to craft LinkedIn content to establish your authority. This strategy is part of the content system that allows me and my clients to generate hundreds of high-ticket leads per month through LinkedIn. If you haven't checked the videos before, I will link them below in the show notes so you can check them out as well. Also, if you're interested in having me set up the system for you, don't hesitate to send me a message on LinkedIn and then we can take it from there. So today we're going to speak about the 6 types of authority building content. And by now I want to ask you if you already know how you can include emotions in your content, because as you think of like some of my recent content, it can be the difference between good and great content. So if you haven't checked out the video how to create emotionally loaded content, please check out the video. This one is also shared in the show notes below. Now, if we look at the specific types of authority building content, there are a few ways to position yourself as the expert on LinkedIn and to generate high quality leads for your service business. In terms of the authority building content, there are 2 different ways of approaching this. A quick overview shows us that it's about the doing and the knowing. And especially with the doing part of the authority building content, is that we want to highlight successful projects you've worked on. You can share insights, lessons learned, and results. This can be client results or your own results, a process breakdown, a case study, a testimonial. So that's for the doing side. For the knowing side of things, we can look at ways to share your thoughts on current events and industry developments, or you can offer a unique perspective within your area of expertise and challenge conventional wisdom. And this content is often like industry trends and insights or thought leadership content. So far, we have seen the best results from the doing part. Why, you might ask? Well, I think we're all familiar with the saying, actions speak louder than words, right? But in this case, I highly recommend you to create both types of authority building content, both the doing and the knowing part, and see which type of content performs best for your unique brand. And that being said, this brings me to the 6 most powerful types of authority building content we can distinguish. Like I said, it's about client results, a breakdown of your process/systems, a case study, testimonials, industry trends and insights, and thought leadership. So let's unpack them one by one. Of course, we start with client results, because what better way to showcase your expertise and grow your authority than by sharing results you helped your clients get? And I always think of the following statement: what are the results I achieved for X? X can be a client or a business or a person. And then I ask myself, hey, how can I ask a story, or how can I tell a story about this? And then between quotes, without making this too salesy. So I do this by sharing the following parts. What was the initial problem this client struggled with? How did they feel about this? If you think back of the introduction where I showed that the importance of great content, or the aspect of great content, is emotions. So you really want to highlight that. What is the work you get done together, and what did they do on their own? What was the result of the work? So you can include like ROI or outcomes. And of course, can I include some form of social proof or evidence to back up your claim? Because you can tell the world that you're the best, but if you don't have evidence or data to back it up, it's hard for the audience to believe that. Note, it can also be your own results. So let's say you're a ghostwriter, then growing your own audience or generating leads for your own brand is, of course, results that you can share to attract more clients. A few examples here. As you can see here on the left side, it's a client result from someone that used my free template, also linked in the show notes below. And with these free templates, he generated 5 leads and got 1 sale, almost of 6K. So it's great results. I use this in my type of content, because that allows people to see like, hey, this person worked with the stuff from Jesse, it works, they got this result, so I might want to try that out as well. If we look at the right side, it's someone from my cohort, from my mastermind, like a client. He got a few clients in, closed over 17K in revenue, and averaging that month on like 21K on new revenue. So I'm using this in a post to share a story and what the results this client got. Two more examples. If you want to read in detail, please pause the video so you can look how I write this type of client results post. On to the second one. And this is a really interesting one, because especially if you're selling a coaching offer, so let's say a 12 to 16 week program, this format could be super useful to help your ideal client understand what working with you looks like. So if you think back of like the emotions that we discussed in the beginning, this prevents objections from being an issue, because this format definitely establishes your authority and credibility, moving your ideal client closer to working with you. And with this type of content, you mostly want to stay on the why and the what of your process and system. So why is it important and what does it entail, without going too much in detail in terms of like the day-to-day or the step-by-step process, because you want to have your client at the point like, hey, this sounds interesting, I want to have this, or I want to have this, I want to know more. Thus, in that way, they send you a message. And definitely, this type of content leans towards the educational element. So if your goal is lead generation, you don't want to overdo this one. As you can see, a few examples here where throughout the post, I'm sharing more about the process that I'm working with my clients. So for example, here I'm highlighting the fact that like addressing emotions in content is essential for our success. That's what I'm also doing right here. So I'm helping my ideal client understand what working with me on this specific offer looks like. So you can see here, I'm like kind of break them. And as you think back on what I said before, I have the why here, and here's the what, and I leave out the how, because I'm like, hey, this is what we do, but I'm leaving out how we do it. And I think that's an essential difference to make there. And as well here, I'm like, hey, this is the things we do. And if you want to know more, let me know below, and then we can chat about that. It's also good to know that you don't want to be afraid to sell your secrets and processes in your content, because your ideal clients, they want to have you help them solve the problem and not doing their own. Or, as Alex Ramosi said it perfect, you want to give away the secrets, but you want to sell the implementation. And as all of us are targeting other services or selling services, we want to, of course, sell the implementation. With that being said, let's dive into type number 3, a case study. And this one is, I would say, fairly similar to the first one, client results, but there is a big difference to make. And a great case study structure here, like a full hat tip to my mentor, Sean Anthony, for compiling this framework. You want to speak about the before, the after, the time frame, the ROI, the description of what has been done, and a quote. As you can see, very similar to the client results, but much more like a storytelling kind of form. And that gets us posts like this. So again, if you want to read these posts in detail, please pause the video. But I want to highlight this case study more. So as you can see here, I'm sharing a story about how I worked with Josh. I add a screenshot of his testimonial, which is extra evidence. And I'm just listing out like, hey, this is the problem he had. This is what he done. This is the work we got done together. The rest is history. He got this results, etc., etc., etc. And that is really clear. And I know I have people ending this post. I'm like, hey, I want to have this too. I want to get the results just have. So again, this is a really good structure for your case study. So the before, the after, the time frame, the ROI, description of what I've done. So like, what was the work you got done together? Like, what are the things you worked on? Again, it kind of ties into number 2, the breakdown of your systems and processes, because that helps your audience understand what working with you looks like. And of course, you want to have some form of evidence. It can be a screenshot, a text, or a video, anything what you can use there. And then I want to go to number 4, a testimonial, one of the familiar ones on LinkedIn. And this one is definitely similar to client results and case study. But with this approach, you can use the literal words, whether it's a video or a text from your clients. Super powerful when done right. So as you can see here, 3 examples. Matt Barker here uses a video of one of his clients, a little of a story about what they got done together, the results. So I know he gets people to the end of like, hey, I want to get the results Jacob has. I'm doing something very similar here with Niklas. So I'm having a video testimonial that I added to the post. I'm sharing a little bit about the before and the after, the results, the ROI. So it's really like case study testimonial in one. And on the right side here, we see a more expanded version of a testimonial where Stefan speaks about the work or the work Susan shared about their work together. So it's a really good way of building authority and establishing credibility with your audience. So that's being said about the doing part of things. So we have the client results, we have a breakdown of your processes and systems, we have a case study, and we have a testimonial. And now we're going to go over to the knowing part of things from authority building content. And that starts with industry trends and insights. Because with this format, you want to share thoughts on current industries and new development in your industry. This helps with gaining credibility and authority and positioning you as the expert in your industry. And this could be a really good way, a really good format if you don't have case studies or client results yet, but you do have extended industry knowledge so you can share with your audience. On the right side here, we see Jake, where he speaks about the old content marketing versus the new content marketing. So by doing so, he shows his audience that he has an understanding of the industry as a whole. But he also adds something like practical, because I'm like, hey, do this to get success in 2023. So he adds his own flavor. It's just not only that he states industry trends. He's like, hey, do this because that helps you get ahead into 2023. And by doing so, he established himself as like a thought leader or an authority within the space. Something similar here done by Niall Radcliffe. Like, his business is all about newsletters. So he points out that the big companies in the tech space, like Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and Meta, and IBM, they have a newsletter. So he's really like sneaky with it. Like, hey, I don't want to state the obvious here, but it seems to be a trend. And then he has like an image, and of course this establishes him more as an authority because what he sells is email services for his clients. So again, you can make this post without having like case studies or testimonials, because this is just like, hey, you're looking at the industry where you're active in, and like, hey, what can I write about this to position myself as an authority within the space? And the lastly is about the last part of the authority building content is about thought leadership. And this is fairly similar to the industry trends and insight, but with this one, you want to add even more of a unique perspective of from your side, and perhaps even challenge conventional wisdom. So on the left side, again, you can see now this is like a format he often uses. He speaks about the 9 thoughts on marketing. So by doing so, again, he shows his audience that he understands the industry. He looks at the industry, and he has a perhaps a similar or a different perspective on things. So he shares it with his audience. And on the right side, we see a great post by my friend Rob Hoffman, where he speaks about, okay, content pollution is killing the internet. So he's stating an observation, and then he's giving a step-by-step plan how you can do or how you can overcome this issue. So this one is a little bit of a mix between thought leadership and educational content, and that will always be the case. So again, these could be posts that you do without case studies or client results, because it allows you to showcase your industry knowledge. And well, my friends, that's it. I kept it short and snappy for you because the most important part here is that you start executing on these elements. So in order for you to establish your authority, gain credibility, and generate high ticket leads through LinkedIn, you want to use this type of content. So thanks for watching. And again, if you're interested in me and having me create this system for you, don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can send me a message on LinkedIn. I will add everything in the show notes below, and then we'll see you in the next one. Cheers, bye.